Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. On the show today, we're going to turn our attention at an issue that has not really got the attention that it should have all these years. And that is the problem of under-trials in our jails. What is being done about them? Are they spending too much time there without even being proved to be guilty? And it's also been said that this is spreading elsewhere. A number of people, high-profile cases and some people, have been arrested, thrown into jail. Some people have questioned that were they really guilty at the time that they were just thrown into jail. So are we becoming too easy in just putting people behind keys? I mean, lock them up, throw the keys away, and without really waiting for the full process of justice to be passed. All of this is, of course, important because around the world, even in America, the entire question of how justice is being served continues to be particularly important. Let me start out by welcoming all the guests whom we have with us. Justice Sodhi, of course, one of the most noted judicial minds, so it's great to have you with us. Sambit Patel will be representing the BJP. We have Mohammed Amir with us here, who actually spent 14 years in jail from February 1998 to January 2012. He was accused of sedition, waging war against the nation, was eventually acquitted in 17 of the 19 cases, and that's after he spent 14 years in jail, and appeal in 2 other cases is still pending. Also joining us, we have Prashant Bhushan. Great to have you with us, Prashant, as always. Sanjay Jha is joining us to give us a perspective from the Congress party. Gaurav Bhatia, joining us from Lucknow, has been representing many people, including the Sahara group, and we've heard of Subroto Roy, who, of course, has been in prison also for a while now. And finally, Binayak Sen joining us. Thank you all so much for being with us. And before I go any further, let me just run you through some of the statistics in this. The current law, which is governing management and administration of prisons, 120 years old. India actually stands at number 14 in the list of 195 countries with the highest number of pre-trial detainees. That's not really a list you want to be very high on. Something like 68%, nearly 68% of all prison inmates in India are still awaiting trial. 20% of them are charged in murder. 1% under trials detained for more than 5 years. Something like 47% of them are below the age of 30. All of these are statistics that should worry us. Justice Sodhi, why don't I just start off with you first? We have heard very recently the government proposing, or at least it's an idea that has come out from the government, that it will be releasing under trials who've already served more than half the maximum sentence that is permissible. Is that a good step, you think?
Well, a good step in the sense that it is a start. But I don't think this is a very thing to be proud of, because 50% of sentence already undergone and are often under trial who's presumed to be innocent. I mean, what is the law? What are we doing? We have kept a person behind bars, absolutely on the assumption that he is innocent, and yet we have an innocent man in jail. How do we justify that in Article 21?
He's been in jail long enough to have served half the maximum sentence he could have got. Therefore, and he's still, as you're rightly saying, under law, he's still innocent.
This is not right. I think this is appalling, really. And why we are doing this is only because I think we judges are responsible for that. No government, no policeman, no nothing. We judges are responsible for keeping people behind bars. The police arrests because you have a cognizable case or whatever. It will arrest you. But the question is, thereafter you are produced before a magistrate. Magistrate is law, is judicial magistrate. He sends you for remands, 15 days, or whatever it is. Now this goes on and on and on. And it is always judicial custody. They can be police custodies also, but for a short time. Thereafter, it's all judicial custody. Therefore, we are the ones who become insensitive of human rights, of the rights of prisoner under Article 21, which is right to life and liberty. We are taking it too lightly.
Sambit, is this something which the government is now planning to do something about, and is it something which is going to be a priority? We heard the statement from the Home Minister saying that we might take this step.
No, definitely it should be the priority, and it has to be the priority. And well, yes, every government which is democratic in nature has to look into this fact, has to address this very serious issue.
Prashant Bhushan, let me get your views on this.
You deny a person bail only on 3 grounds. One, that he is likely to flee from justice and not come for trial at all if he is given bail. Second, that he has committed a very heinous offence and there is likelihood that he will commit similar such offences if he is released on bail. And three, that he is likely to tamper with evidence if he is released on bail. Unfortunately, without any of these three conditions being present in a large majority of cases, people are denied bail and they continue to languish in jails.
You're being punished before you've actually been found guilty. That's the problem.
That's right. That's because the
but
trial
you yourself,
takes
Prashant,
so long.
But Prashant, you yourself in cases like Subroto Roy, for example, have said that that is correct, that someone like him should be in jail, as he has been for the last 7-8 months, before he's actually been convicted.
There is a class of very influential people in our society. They may be influential politicians or influential businessmen who, after being enlarged on bail, managed to delay their trials and prolong their trials indefinitely. Ms. Jayalalitha was also in that class. The fact that she was on bail, she managed to delay her trial for 13, 14, 15 years, etc. Some people managed to delay it indefinitely by using all kinds of unfair legal strategies, etc. and their influence, which sometimes extends over the judiciary as well. And that is why for the cases of at least influential people, those cases especially need to be put on a very fast track.
Okay, fast track is fine, but again I'm questioning whether... So Gaurav, let me get you in on this, because you've represented, you represent Sahara, of course. Is that a correct argument you feel?
There have been some cases where influential people, because of their might and the money that is at their disposal, are able to delay the trials or the appeals. But I think even an influential person should be treated at par, if not better, than a normal citizen of this country. So law is the same for everyone. But my point is slightly different, Vikram. I was hearing Justice Sodhi say that judges are to be blamed, and I do not agree with him with utmost respect, because I have been to the trial courts, the high courts and the Supreme Court, and the kind of effort that the judges put in is tremendous. The problem lies here, and I would like to just tell you that there are 911 vacancies in the High Court. 300 of them are still vacant. In the trial courts, there are more than 3,300 vacancies that are vacant. And the worrisome part is, Mr. Sambit Patra from the BJP is also here, and I do not wish to politicize, but the budget for the judiciary this year was only 1,970 crores.
Binayak Sen, let me come to you. If you look at the marginalized sections of society, if you look at tribals, if you look at arrest Maoists, is it even worse for them?
Firstly, my time in jail was an extremely educative process for me, because I learnt a lot that I didn't know earlier. And one of the great educations that I underwent in jail was to meet other under-trial prisoners as well as convicts, and to listen to their experiences and of their encounters with the judicial process. And what I found is that there is simply no way for a poor person to get justice. I mean, we must remember that speedy trial is also a fundamental right guaranteed to every citizen of India, and every time when there is no speedy trial, the fundamental right is breached. And in this situation, so many people spend years in jail and without having a fair trial, without redress. Jail is a place where hope is abandoned, and one of the main reasons why hope is abandoned is because the judicial process simply doesn't answer to the expectations of the majority of the prisoners, of the people who are there in prison. So I think that the people who are running there is a structural collusion between the police and the judicial system to keep people in silence dissent and keep people in jail in what amounts to illegal custody.
All right, Binayak Sen, I'll just come back to you. Mohammed Amir Khan, if you also want to tell us your story, what exactly happened, what did you encounter in jail?
मेरे साथ 16 साल पहले एक हादसा ऐसा गुजरा जिसने मेरी पूरी ज़िंदगी को, बल्कि मेरी ज़िंदगी को नहीं, पूरी फैमिली को डिस्टर्ब किया। 18 साल की लगभग उम्र में फरवरी में मुझको रात को दवाई लेने निकला तो पुलिस नहीं कहूँगा, उस वक्त वो सादी ड्रेस में थे और मुझको रात को 9 बजे मुझको एक जिप्सी में डाल के अनजान जगह पे सिविल ड्रेस में लोग ले गए। 3-4 दिन तक नहीं पता चला कि ये पुलिस है या कि बदमाश है, मैं बदमाशी समझता रहा। उन्हें टॉर्चर किया मुझको और 20 फरवरी 1998 को मुझको किडनैप किया गया था और 27 फरवरी को मुझको कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस किया ये बताकर कि ये एक 1996-97 में जितने दिल्ली और उसके आसपास ब्लास्ट हुए थे वो मेरे ऊपर डाल दिए गए, कहा कि ये मास्टरमाइंड है। और इस 7 दिन के अंदर मुझको जो है 3rd डिग्री टॉर्चर, जिसको मैंने शायद उस टीन एज में किताबों या फिल्मों में ही देखा होगा, जो मेरे ऊपर मैंने अपने ऊपर गुजारा, कि आज भी मैं उसको सोचता हूँ तो रोंगटे खड़े होते हैं और सपनों में भी आज भी वो चीज़ें आती हैं, नाखून हाथों के निकालना या फिर पेशाब पिलाना या फिर रोलर फेरना या इलेक्ट्रिक शॉट लगाना। 3 महीने तक मैं फिर लीगली रिमांड पे हुआ। 3 महीने के बाद जब जेल में गए, एक लंबा ट्रायल चला। अगर मैं आप ही का केस समझूं तो उसके बाद जब आपने 14 साल आपने जेल में काटे थे, आप कभी कन्विक्ट हुए थे? बिल्कुल नहीं, किसी एक भी केस में आप कन्विक्ट नहीं हुए थे? मेरे ऊपर 19 केस थे जिसमें से 16 सेशन कोर्ट से इक्विटल हुए और 3 में कन्विक्शन दी, 3 में मैंने अपील की और हाई कोर्ट में 3 अपीलें मंजूर की गई। उसमें से एक अपील जो है इक्विटल की गई, सेशन का जो डिसीजन था उसको बदला गया कि ये सही डिसीजन नहीं था और अभी 2 केस पेंडिंग हैं और अभी तक मैं इंतज़ार कर रहा हूँ कि उसमें कोई डिसीजन निकल के आए।
Kiran Bedi, let me just get you in. So, what we are seeing is the number of under trials. Now, you also ran Tihar jail at a certain amount of time, so therefore, really want to tap in on your expertise out here. 68% of prison inmates still awaiting trial. Cases like his, where there's 3rd degree torture, persons are getting punished before they have been convicted. What can be done about this?
According to the judgment of the Supreme Court, if he's done offense other than life imprisonment, its maximum punishment is 7 years. After half of the time, if he's done in jail, he is entitled for bail. He's entitled for bail. The point is, remember, you have an accused and you also have a victim. Justice demands that if an accused obviously has a right for a fair trial, but remember there's a victim also. So therefore, there is a judgment of the Supreme Court, which Mr. Sodhi would also be able to tell you, that that if he's committed and he's not bailed out, or he's not been able to bail himself out, because there has to be a bail which satisfies the court, right? Because there is a crime committed.
So would you say at this point, ma'am, more people are in prison, perhaps longer than they should be, then is the reverse? Are there more innocent people, are there more guilty people outside or more innocent people inside?
One thing we know, that there is a process of delayed trial. Trials are delayed because they're not conducted on day-to-day basis. We have shortage of courts, we have shortage of judges, and there are also adjournments which are taken by the lawyers. Prisoners sometimes themselves delay trials. Let me tell you, they go, if they know all witnesses are appearing, they try and send a medical also. There are a lot of factors. The witnesses don't appear, there's delay in the charge sheet filing, there are lots of things. Okay. But remember, there is a victim and there is an accused. Accused is looking for fast track court and also looking for being bailed out, but victim is also looking for punishment of the accused.
Binayak Sen, would you like to respond to that?
One thing is that speedy trial is absolutely mandatory. Speedy trial is absolutely essential, because unless we have a speedy trial, either way things are going to go wrong. Either the accused will spend unnecessary time in prison, or the victim will be dissatisfied. Because if the whole process is going to take so long that it doesn't make a difference one way or the other, I mean, then the whole process of justice loses its credibility. What I realized is that there are thousands of other people who are in exactly the same condition as I was in. And as I continue to be, because I have a conviction and a life imprisonment on me, and I'm out on bail because of because of being granted bail by the Supreme Court.
Prashant Bhushan,
yes.
At the end of the day, then, is the answer on both sides, and Justice Suri, I'm going to come to you next. Two separate things. Number one, that first point where you are telling a person, okay, I am putting you into jail, without necessarily seeing whether even spending one night in jail for somebody who's innocent can be a harrowing, life-changing experience. So one, that first decision to put somebody into jail, and secondly, the entire question of speedy trials. At the end of the day, with a speedy trial, if we could do it, would it sort things out on both sides?
To a very large extent, it's really the delay in trial which is responsible for this mess. Ms. Bedi says that there is a victim, but how are you presuming that the accused person is responsible for victimizing him without a trial? So that is why, unless he has been convicted, once he has been convicted like Ms. Jayalalitha has been convicted, then things are on a slightly different footing. The only problem that we are seeing today is really delayed trial, and influential persons are unfortunately using their influence to delay their trials further once they are enlarged on bail. Okay. On the other hand, if they are not enlarged on bail, then they use their influence to speed up the trial.
Don't you just respond to what he said? That
the charge sheet is always before the judge. Judge knows the evidence. Judge knows the complaint and the public prosecutor debates for it. So if there is a false case, he would be discharged right away. So judge takes cognizance.
Sir, it's not that simple, is it?
1 second. No. I have not completed, Vikram. Yeah. Do you mean to say police has sadistic pleasure? It makes false cases all the time? There is a victim.
Yes, it does happen.
So
it's not that it doesn't happen.
No, does it happen all the time?
It may not happen all the time, but it does happen.
So let's happen.
Very often, very often.
Where it doesn't happen. Let's those cases where there's a genuine complaint. Do you mean to say there are no genuine complaints? I've been a police officer who's looked into many hundreds of investigations. I never made. Police officers don't make false cases.
But number one. I'm just questioning the basic premise. It is true that there are false cases. Policemen do make false cases. Sometimes people are bribed to get people locked up.
Cases. No, let's look at
is it worse? But there's also a canon of justice which says that it's better for 99 guilty people to go free than one innocent to be in jail.
Every case is before the courts. Courts can discharge if it's prima facie false, but the court takes cognizance.
Yes, Binayak Sen, you were responding to what Kiran Bedi said.
Though the police are misusing the courts, are utilizing the courts to put people away whom they want to put away. They put people away for long periods of time, irrespective of whether the police whether they are finally convicted. I mean, they actually stand a chance of conviction or not. To accuse a person and then put the person away simply in order to secure their incarceration.
So what is the rule? Justice Suri, let me just turn to you.
The bail part is concerned. Remember, there's an Article 21, like I said earlier. It has various facets. The first facet is that if you are accused and cognizance has been taken, you are entitled to a very speedy trial. Now, if the judiciary is incapable, I say incapable of giving that, of supporting that right, it has got no business to keep that person languishing in jail. It has to come to his aid. Now, again, there are cases and cases where situation may be such where incarcerating him is in the interest of society. Then it must act so. But bail itself is the rule and jail is an exception. Now, where a large number of people are lying in jail, it is all because of judicial inaction, nothing to do with the police. The police can have passed on the buck. Now it is the judiciary. The judiciary is incapable today of taking on the burden of the millions that are coming before it for justice. It can't handle it. But then it can't do injustice in it.
64,000 pending matters in the Supreme Court.
In Delhi,
we keep hearing these
no,
statistics.
in Delhi there are 75% under trials.
let me go to Gaurav Bhatia, and then Sanjay Jha hasn't had a chance to speak yet. So Gaurav Bhatia, let me come to you next. Of course, there are different conditions that different people have in jail. Some of the influential people have slightly better conditions than the rest do.
Budget that is allocated, which I wanted to emphasize earlier also, is a minuscule 0.4% of the entire budget. Now what happens, I'll give you the case of Allahabad High Court, where many persons have been languishing in jail for years when they have served the entire sentence, leave alone serving more than half the sentence. And the Supreme Court has also ordered that if there is a person who has been behind bars for more than half the period of the maximum sentence that is available, he should be immediately let out. But the problem is that the budget is not enough, the judges are not enough, and therefore I think the common man suffers.